I was debating back and forth for the longest time whether I should even make this video, and I realized I should because I do believe it will be able to help some of you guys who may be experiencing something similar. It is going to be a lot more of just a flowy conversation type video. This isn't like too structured in any way. I'm really just kind of like, I have my topics that I wanted to talk about, and I kind of just want to flow from like what I have actually pretty much experienced. And one of the main things I really wanted to talk about today was recovery. If I had to break down and tell you the amount of times I have had to let go of an old identity and start over again, and I mean like build from absolute scratch, I would absolutely lose count. The amount of times I have looked at myself and kind of been like, okay, like this is not good enough. We need to do better for ourselves. And in order to become better, you do have to develop yourself completely. Like, it's not just about resources or external opportunities. It's really something to do with having an internal shift, like your identity, what you believe about yourself, the kind of standards you've been tolerating for yourself. All of that needs to shift, right? And a lot of the time we have certain things that are holding us back, certain beliefs that we might have, and we tend to hold on to them. And that's why we repeat certain patterns. Even though we know what might be good for us, we tend to keep on doing the same things. So I remember from like when I was young, there are so many things I've done. Obviously, we all make mistakes, but the level of kind of strength that was required in order to start over, it's so hard because you'll be surprised like just how many people kind of choose to stay stuck just because that's more familiar, that feels easier than doing something completely new. Like, people would rather stay stuck in the same harmful patterns, even though if they know it's not going to get the results that they want, they know that it's not good for them, but they'd rather do that because it's familiar. So if you are someone who is able to start from scratch and build yourself up again and again, just know you are incredibly strong and resilient because so many people choose the easier option. Like, you don't need to do that. You could easily be one of them and just kind of be like, actually, you know what? I'm good here. I'll just stick with this. This feels comfortable right now. So, kind of going out of your way to make sure that you're putting in the work to kind of be like, actually, like, this is not what I want anymore. I know I could do more for myself, and I will put in the work that's required in order for myself to level up and ensure that I get the results that I want. That is serious courage. So don't ever let anyone kind of overlook that, because you know just how much strength and effort was required for you to get to a certain place. It might look like on the outside like it was just luck or things worked out in your favor, but you know how much work you put in behind the scenes. And I wanted to touch on that because I think it's so important as part of recovery. Going back to the identity, the reason why people hold on to the same circumstances, the same people that they know aren't good for them, is because although logically they know that they can do better, there is a part of them that kind of just feels like, actually, you know what, starting over is scary. And it requires a lot of mental strength to be able to kind of be like, actually, yes, this was wrong, what I'd done, taking accountability, but then to kind of be like, but actually, that doesn't define me. I can start over again. I can let go of that person that I was. And it's all with love, by the way. I don't move on from a chapter like, oh, like I hated who I was at that stage of my life. Like, I think real growth and real self-love is being able to look back and kind of be like, actually, I was exactly who I needed to be at that time in my life. And I love myself for that. I love myself at every stage of my journey. I love every version of myself. But that's just it. It's a version of you. You do not need to carry that with you your whole life. And I think that's so important to understand for recovery. If you do want to start over, you do want to build again and do something new, it's important to understand that, you can do that. You can just let go of that version of yourself and start over. with a new version of yourself. You do not need to hold on to the same person, the same ways of doing things your whole entire life. So, understand that that person that you were at one point, they were needed at that time, they got you through a certain phase of your life, but who you need to be today in order to level up and reach the next level, you also need to make sure that you're becoming better as well and evolving. But I think it's just so important because sometimes there's a lot of like stigma attached to changing, right? People will be like, oh, like you've changed, you're not the same anymore. It can come with a lot of hate, a lot of kind of just like, oh, like who does she think she is? I think women especially are kind of like, we get that a lot from other women too. When they see us kind of like doing something different, they'll kind of be like, oh, like, what are you doing? And, they'll question you for it. It's not an easy thing to do because it's kind of like you're going away from the norm. Again, most people just kind of like sit and do what they know. And it's funny because I remember one time someone I used to know, she asked me like, I noticed that you tend to move on from a situation when, you don't want to be there anymore, rather than stay in it. And a lot of people kind of just be like, stay in it just for like whatever reason. And like, to me, it was kind of like, well, of course. And then it kind of hit me. I was like, I don't know anything else. Like, I can't just stay in a situation, pretend that I'm okay, wear this mask, and just try to please everybody around me. I, for the longest time, have been someone that no matter what I'm doing, no matter how hard it is for me to do, if there's something that I just know isn't for me, I cannot fake it. Like, I need to always be doing what is in alignment with my soul. And if I'm not in alignment, it brings out such an awful side of me, and I hate to see that. I hate to see that for myself. So I actually can't stay stuck in situations, but I realize for those of you that are probably watching, you're probably also the same in that sense where it's like you won't settle for less. You know deep down that you truly are meant for amazing things. You know that God loves you and God wants the best for you. Of course, we're going to be tested in this life. That's what this life is. Of course, we have to go through things, to experience things, to grow in like wisdom, to like learn from things. And that's part of the journey. And that's a beautiful thing. It's not about avoiding struggle, but it's about coming out through the struggle even better, right? In some kind of way. And if we can learn to look at it through that, like, we're not meant to just stay stuck in a situation forever, then you can really like, see how life works out in your favor. It's not meant to just keep you trapped. Like, you can choose who you want to be at any given stage. And I think that's the main thing I kind of want to touch on here, like with recovery. If you feel like you've been through something that was so hard, just know that you're going to come back better. And you can choose who you want to be. You can choose the identity that you want to take on. You can choose the story that you want to have at the end of the day. You can choose what meaning you want to take from that experience that you've had. You can choose the perspective that you want to have on it. You can choose what you want to focus on from that experience. You can choose to focus on all of the negative, or you can focus on actually how it transformed you into something so much more amazing. And that to me is so crucial in terms of developing yourself in the best way. Like, recovery is such a huge aspect of it, because it's all well and good being like, oh, like I know what I'm doing when everything's kind of like smooth sailing. But when you hit those rocky moments and you hit those obstacles, how good are you at recovering? That is what will determine success, in my opinion. Like, how good you are at recovering, how good you are from like getting up from setbacks, how good you are from looking at whatever happened and taking on the best, so that you can continue to develop and push forward and keep on pushing, and understand that no matter what you go through, you need to come out better, smarter, stronger, and in some way be able to take that, learn from it, so that you don't repeat the same mistakes in the future. That to me is the mark of a truly successful person, and believe me, it is rare. So if you are in recovery from something, or you're just trying to do better, just know that you even striving for that, you having that awareness that you're trying to make a comeback and you're trying to do even better than before, you are so special. Like, it takes so much courage to be able to do that. So I just wanted to let you know that. And I think it's important also to talk about the ugly side of it, because there are some people that, you know, maybe don't let you forget when you do try to level up. Like, you know, they'll kind of bring up things maybe that you've done, mistakes that you made, or like the past that you may try to move on from. And I think it's so important to stay strong in knowing who you are and be like, actually, like, that was a mistake, or like, that was a lesson, like, it's okay. Like, forgive yourself for things that you may have done, and understand that, like, you know, today's a new day. You can truly choose who you want to be today. You can be a better person today if you want to. Do not think that your past completely defined who you are today and your future. Don't allow that, and certainly don't allow that from anybody. And, you know, definitely not yourself. Like, make sure, like, that inner critic, make sure it's working in your favor, okay? Like, let it boost you up rather than tear you down. So one of the other things even that I wanted to touch on was mental health. In that, part of mental health, obviously, just like physical health, it's kind of like we're trying to build up our tolerance, right? The more we kind of go through, the stronger our mental health becomes, because we almost like learn to endure, we learn certain coping mechanisms. But it's also important to realize that you are not weak if you experience setbacks. You are not weak if you experience challenges. In fact, if you're able to experience challenges, you know, with your mental health, and kind of notice that, and then you try to put things in place to better yourself, that is the ultimate strength. To kind of go into that dark place but come out even better, that is true strength. So don't ever let setbacks hold you back entirely. Don't ever feel like you can't build up your mind again, get that strength back, that fortitude. Like, that will come again, and you'll be back even stronger. As a Muslim, obviously we believe in like the devil's whisper, so like it's like waswas, and a lot of the time what he would do is he will play games with your mind, literally try to weaken you. So when you're trying to move on from something, let's say like you made a mistake, you asked for forgiveness, God forgave, and you're trying to move on and actually better yourself, that, you know, devil's going to be in your head kind of being like, oh, like, who do you think you are, trying to better yourself, like, you know, you done this and this, and, you know, you're not going to be forgiven. Like, it'll be in your head, right? And then naturally we kind of want to slip back into that role that we know, to kind of be like, actually, like, yeah, what is the point of trying so hard? Actually, like, you know, I've already messed up, kind of thing. And we'll be so hard on ourselves. But that's the test, right? Do not let the devil just be in your ear, like, you know, literally talking you down from like leveling up and trying to do better. Like, it's all about making mistakes but trying to better ourselves. No one in this life is completely perfect. Absolutely nobody. And that is in any walk of life. No one's going to be perfect. So you're going to make mistakes. But it's just about your attitude towards those mistakes. So when the devil is in your ear trying to tell you this and that, all that nonsense, literally be like, hell no. I am choosing to believe in better. I know I can do better for myself, and I will do better for myself. I can let go and forgive myself for what I have done, but I'm going to use that knowledge to keep on moving forward. So I just want you guys to know it is never too late to start over. No matter what you think about yourself, no matter what you've been through, you can start over again and again. And you should start over again and again, because that is truly, I feel, how we actually become closer towards our true self. Because if you think about it, we go through life and, you know, experience so much of like, oh, like, you should do this, you should do. There's a lot of outside noise. And I think it's only through trials where we kind of see like, actually, like, who am I? You know what I mean? Who am I in all of this? What do I want? What do I need even? What is my calling? What does God want for me? How does God want me to show up? These are all things that I feel like you discover along the way for yourself. So tapping into that, you know, that happens through these challenges. Look at the blessings that come from those challenges, but ultimately, like, know that it is okay to start over. You do not have to be the same person your whole life. You do not have to hold on to like that baggage, those negative quality traits. You can just kind of be like, look, enough is enough. I'm done with that. I want to be better from today. And that journey might not look straight and perfect. So again, there's no such thing. But as long as you're striving to do better, you're every day, you are getting that little bit better, and you are focused on moving forward, you will eventually get the results that you want. So always keep trying, always keep going forward in the direction you want to go in. Believe that the best is yet to come. Believe that you are worthy of so much more. And God will just unfold like miracles in your life. Literally, that things will start to show up signs and just amazing experiences. And you'll kind of be like one day like, wow, like, this is what it's all about. And you'll be so grateful that you actually took that step, which requires so much courage. You put your faith in God and you put in the work, and you will most definitely see the results of your hard work. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I didn't talk too much about my own personal experience. If that is something that you're interested in, obviously do let me know. This channel, I am trying to be a little bit more open about my own like personal experience. And again, it's kind of like the behind the scenes, isn't it? So you guys get to know me a little bit more on a personal level. So yeah, comment down below if there is any specific video suggestions that you have in mind. But yeah, otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. Please do also subscribe to my main channel. You can find me over there, and also my social media. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Alright, thanks guys. Bye bye.